I can't help but to say about freaking time after reading this article. So 7 years later, ironically 7, Magic Dragon Ball, 7 Dragon Balls, hey! 7 years later, one of the people in charge of Dragon Ball Evolution takes responsibility and apologizes for the atrocity that was that film. I can't believe my eyes. It took them fucking 7 years, but the dude finally, I think he was one of the writers or something, he finally came across and said, you know what? The movie was shit, and I apologize, and I was a scumbag for it. In other words, of course, because he's not going to say, you know, flat out exactly how it is. But yeah, after reading this, I'm just like, what the fuck? Why did it take you so long? How many people were just absolutely livid at the shit that this was? Because let's be real here, if we would have had a good Dragon Ball movie, at least a decent Dragon Ball movie, we could have had so many different things. It could have spun so many different things, because at the end of the day, in the West, Dragon Ball, along with Naruto, but mainly Dragon Ball, is the epicenter of anime and how popular it could get with, you know, different demographics, because Pokemon was mainly for the kids and stuff like that, and a lot of, you have the kiddie animes like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, which, don't get me wrong, I'll still watch some fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, but Dragon Ball appealed to so many demographics, and to this day, people that are our age now, you know, in our 20s and, you know, teens and older people and everything, we love the fuck out of Dragon Ball. So this right here, failing back in 2009, was something that was devastating to what could have been something incredible, because if it would have been, let's just say, a critically acclaimed film, they would have kept on going and we would have had more and more and more, and who knows what it could have been. So yeah, let's just jump into what this motherfucker had to say. The article starts with, as they say, mistakes were made. The Hollywood live-action Dragon Ball Evolution was released in 2009, and pretty much no one likes it. Not series creator Akira Toriyama, not the hardcore DBZ fans, or the ones who remember the series nostalgically, or even the casuals, or even people who like to watch bad movies ironically. And in at least one case, the people behind there are willing to admit that it's not particularly defensible. While working on the upcoming USA DBZ, Derek Padula, author of books such as Dragon Soul, recently spoke to screenwriter Ben Ramsey, who proved to be open about the problems with Evolution. I knew that it would eventually come down to this one day. Dragon Ball Evolution marked a very painful creative point in my life. Yeah, it was very painful for many of us. In your creative life, cool. In our experience, yeah, it was painful for us as well. To have something with my name on it as the writer be so globally reviled is gut-wrenching. I hope it is. To receive hate mail from all over the world is heartbreaking. I guess I can sympathize in that way, like, yeah, you know, it does suck to get hate mail, but rightfully deserved. I spent so many years trying to deflect the blame, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to the written word on page, and I take full responsibility for what was such a disappointment to so many fans. About fucking time. I did the best I could, but at the end of the day, I dropped the Dragon Ball. Really? That is so fucking corny. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll tell you some corny fucking jokes. Where was he headed off to? Haha. But yeah, you dropped more than the Dragon Ball, bro. You dropped your fucking pen and your mind when you came up with this shit. I went into the project chasing after a big payday. Oh, well then. Oh, hold on. I went into the project chasing after a big payday. So, hold on. Not as a fan of the franchise, but as a businessman taking on an assignment. Now, when you're put in a position like this, when you're putting out something that's going to be worldwide in theaters, everyone's going to experience it. Not only do you have to look at it from the perspective of business, you also have to look at it from the perspective of an artistic creation and what it's going to mean to people. A lot of the films that are successful, you know, the big blockbuster hits and shit like that, a lot of the times, yeah, okay, not all the time are they great films or anything like that, but it's because it resonates with the fan. Like, look what's happening with Marvel and DC and all these films and shit like that. Well, minus Batman vs Superman, but then again, that's because it wasn't really faithful to the comics, and what they did was just like, whoa. But you look at them, a lot of the successful ones is because they stay faithful to the source material, and they do things that resonate with the fans very well, and you look at it and it's like, okay, this is what the fans would have wanted. This is something that the fans need. This is what they deserve. And of course, you add your own creative twist to it, but you still make sure that at the end of the day, you look at it for its artistic expression. And the dude looked at it from papers and numbers, and that's not what you do when you're put in a position of responsibility. He had a duty to make sure that something that represented a lot of people's childhoods, a lot of people grew up on Dragon Ball, a lot of people, that's what they got their morals and morale. I mean, it is what it is. A lot of people, they got what they learned in life out of watching that series, and you put in this position, and you look at it and you're like, I'm a businessman, motherfucker. No, you're supposed to look at it, don't get me wrong, because I understand it's a business. I understand you gotta make your money for the film or whatever, so that's one half of it, but you're also supposed to make the best movie possible for people can enjoy, and at the same time, if you make a really good movie, it'll probably lead to success. People like good shit. I have learned that when you go into a creative endeavor without passion, you could come out with suboptimal results and sometimes flat out garbage. Hey, you're admitting that it's flat out garbage? Hey! So I'm not blaming anyone for Dragon Ball but myself. As a fanboy of other series, I know what it's like to have something you love and anticipate be so disappointing. Wow. To all the Dragon Ball fans out there, I sincerely apologize. I hope I can make it up to you by creating something really cool and entertaining that you will like, and that is also something I'm passionate about. That's the only work I do now. Best, Ben. About 7 years too late there, Ben. 7 years. 7. And you're now telling us this. Like, what incentive does anybody have at this particular point to check out anything that you do, or respect anything you do, or have any high expectations for anything you do, when it took you 7 years to own up to the bullshit you did with Dragon Ball Evolution? I mean, you said even throughout those years that you kept deflecting the blame because, you know, this and that, but at the end of the day, it's really the responsibility of the person that's on the paper. So it's not even necessarily that you're owning up to it. You're saying, well, you know what? I'm the one that's on the paper, so I'm just gonna take the blame. Fuck it, so I could kind of move past this shit. No, at the end of the day, you know what it is? You have future endeavors, and ultimately your name is stained by this abomination, and you're trying to get past that. If it was a sincere apology, first of all, it would have happened years ago, not 7 fucking years. This isn't the 7 Dragon Balls, bruh. And it would have come across as more genuine than, hey, you know what? I got new projects. I don't want people to keep looking at me as the piss stain that created Dragon Ball Evolution. I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, your apology, for what it's worth, cool, whatever. Personally, at this point, it's 7 years later, you fucked up. We could have had Dragon Ball movies up the yin yang, but you made a piece of shit, so we probably will never get another live action Dragon Ball movie. Thanks, bro. Good job. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed this video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk me on Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, fuck Dragon Ball Evolution. Have an awesome day.